What's going on, guys? We're looking at an interesting day today. Bitcoin slightly down. We have some miners that are rallying, and as of uploading right now, we have 3 miners that are red. And to me, this is a good sign. You know, lately, Bitcoin's been pulling back. Miners haven't been tanking all that bad. To me, miners have already been suppressed since the halving took effect. The market over the past few months went to price in the halving, cutting rewards, and it's a good sign to see some of these Bitcoin miners have been running recently, even with Bitcoin's drop. But let's look at what's going on out there today. We're going to look at Hive, which is one of the biggest movers today. Never really talk about that one. We're also going to look at Hut 8. They received some news as well today, and we'll see what else we get into. If you guys get something useful out of this, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. And first off, let's see what Bitcoin is doing. Now, Bitcoin, as of recently, it has recovered from oversold on the RSI. We got very close to hitting that 200 MA. Perhaps on one of the next red days, we do come down to roughly 58. 57.5 and test that 200 MA. But I do expect for now, until it's broken, for Bitcoin to kind of follow this general pattern. Maybe we're held up by the 200 MA, maybe we're held up by this descending support line, but for now it seems like this is the pattern. We really need to break out of this resistance. And while Mt. Gox triggered a lot of this selling off recently, the chart gave us a good hint of this. We did have a bearish RSI divergence right here at this resistance. You'll see that we topped out at essentially the same spot here. However, we saw a lower high on the RSI. Keep an eye out for any of these bullish or bearish divergences when the RSI is basically doing something different than the chart. What I think will happen is up until early July, Bitcoin stays stuck in this range. We need to basically wait and see what kind of effect this Mt. Gox selling has. I think it's not as big of an issue as people are making out to be. We've been aware of this for years and years now. I think once the market gets through the first couple weeks of July, we'll see that this selling from Mt. Gox isn't all that bad, and the market will go on to rally. Consider, there's Bitcoin Cash in that. Some people won't sell, obviously. Some people are deceased. Some people took deals and gave that crypto to other companies. So I personally think this Mt. Gox, yeah, maybe for the next couple weeks we sell off, coming up to that unlock for the creditors. But to me, you know, this is the market pricing it in. This recent drop here, this is the market pricing in the pain. This is the market pricing in that worry. And maybe we do head down lower. Maybe we head down to the low 50s if we break the 200 MA. But you got to ask yourself, you know, are you looking to retire right now? If not, then why don't you want more Bitcoin? Why don't you want a lower price? You're looking at Bitcoin all wrong if you just want it to blast off. Unless, of course, you're at old age and you're ready to retire. Otherwise, you should want cheaper Bitcoin. Now, let's move right along and talk about some recent news. We have Hut 8. They just received a $150 million investment for AI. This company, Co2 Management, is investing $150 million in Hut 8 to build AI-related infrastructure. This is the same company that's behind CoreWeave that's looking to acquire Core Scientific. This is going to be a recurring theme. We're going to see news of exahash expansion. We're going to see news of AI growth. And I do think this will bring a pump. Sadly, right now, Hut 8 isn't rallying. It is up pretty decently versus other miners. But, you know, keep an eye on news like this. You know, something we saw from BTBT was an AI expansion update, and they saw a 40% pump. Any exahash expansion, any AI growth expansion news, any analyst price target increases, those things all seem to be pumping Bitcoin miner stocks. So keep an eye on things like that. And looking at Hut 8, I really like this setup. I don't like where the RSI is, but I like everything else. We're about to have a golden cross. You see this red line about to flip the 200 MA. This is a fantastic sign. When we saw our last golden cross back in May of 2023, we went from about $9 all the way to about $22. Hut 8 as of recently is continuing to create higher lows and higher highs. Just like many other miners, they expect to flip to unprofitability thanks to having cutting rewards in half. And just like many other miners, they do expect a small decrease in revenue. Nothing to be alarmed of there. Pretty much all of the miners are expecting to flip from profitability, those that got it, down to unprofitability again, thanks to the halving cutting rewards in half. But my suspicion is that by the end of this year, after we get through this quarter we're currently in, and at the end of next quarter, we should start seeing companies like Hut 8 posting profitability. Hut 8's next important zone to break is going to be its recent high. This roughly $18, $19, and of course the psychological 20 once it gets up there. Maybe we cool down a bit first here. Maybe the market keeps pushing it a bit longer. But you know, this is what we're going to start seeing from a lot of these Bitcoin miners. We're going to start seeing these breakouts to new 52-week highs. We're going to start seeing these golden crosses again. We're going to get back into this general uptrend. Now, I also want to briefly talk about Hive. This one is rallying pretty good today, up like 13-14% as of this update. Still, Hive is stuck in this pattern here. I'm waiting for a breakout of either direction. This is one that actually expects a pretty big decrease in revenue. They reported nearly a $50 million quarter What they expect is 35 million. That's a pretty big drop in revenue expected. We'll see if they're just sandbagging those numbers and maybe they give a good beat here. They too expect an unprofitable quarter coming up. Funny enough, last quarter they reported unprofitability, and the quarter before. Many miners have already posted profitability in those 2 quarters. I'm personally not that big on Hive, but if you are looking for an AI miner, this is another AI play. This is a Bitcoin miner that has been around for quite a long time. What I'd watch for Hive is a break over $5 that can likely bring us towards our resistance. Otherwise, we're going to come down and test 4 and then test our 200 MA. Test these recent lows here, but keep an eye on this general pattern. I do think it's setting up for a big breakout soon. But thanks as always for watching, guys. How are you feeling about Bitcoin right now? I think it's a good sign to see. In general, most miners are green today, while Bitcoin is cooling off a bit. That's a great sign. You know, normally Bitcoin's red, miners are even more red. Bitcoin's green, miners are even more green. So it's a good sign to see a little bit of a divergence from Bitcoin and the miners. I believe they have been suppressed for too long. Now that we got past the halving, now that the market has priced in rewards being cut, it is a matter of seeing some good earnings moving forwards, seeing Bitcoin get back to those all-time highs, breaking new all-time highs, new levels we haven't seen yet, and then many of these miners will be pulling in money hand over fist, pulling in profitability just like they were before the halving. Thanks as always for your support, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.